to the cloud. All right. Good afternoon and welcome to the African American Chamber's Meet the Press. Today we are featuring Courtney Wheaton of ABC22 Fox 45. But before we jump into that, let me tell you about these great things that we've got going on at the African American Chamber. We're doing programs almost every single day, okay? We're trying to bring back member realignment. We're trying to bring back the exchange, but we're trying to do it in a much larger aspect. So please tune in next month, okay? Typically this week, we would have our high-powered speakers as well as our high-power networking series. But instead, okay, I brought you a high-power VIP, okay, Meet the Press. All right, and one that is truly game-changing. And as we talked about it in our staff meetings and as we were progressing through programming this month, we were talking about ways that we can spread the word a little larger. So I'm Jourdan Ivory, Program Director at the African American Chamber, and it is truly my pleasure to be here with you today. If you are watching the replay, we appreciate that too. And if you have questions, there's information and ways to get in touch with me in the bio caption. Detail information down below. So check that out. There's also a survey link in there too. So if you attend today, okay, as well as if you attend a little bit later on, copy and paste that survey link for me. Let me know what you think, okay? So that way I can give some great feedback to Courtney. I can also tell anybody on our team kind of some of the things that you're interested in. And if you have any questions about any parts of the chamber, we would love, love, love to help you out. We are not back in the physical space quite yet, okay? So thank you for joining us today. You're getting this news live, all right? However, we are doing our best to make sure that we are being safe, okay? And being cautious about this virus, all right? We've been navigating phenomenally. We've done over 50 programs since we've been in this COVID crisis. However, I want you to know that the work has not stopped. So if you need to reach us, please call us. Visit us on our website at african-americanchamber.com, and we will be sure to reach back out to you if you shoot us an email. Call us and leave us a voicemail. We check them about 3 times a day. I tell people I check it at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, so catch me at one of those times, and I'll shoot you an email or a call right back. I am so excited for today, so that's why I ran through my spiel, okay? Super excited when we get to talk about Meet the Press because, as we all know, my background is in PR. And before I came to the chamber, I was doing public relations for food, which is like the greatest thing ever, right? Food, news, all right, and great people, right? We can't make that happen without the media. And Meet the Press is something that I brought to the chamber when I first came in 2019 because we have to find ways to get the word out. And although we have a phenomenal communications team behind the African American Chamber at Game Day Communications with Rich and Jackie, we really also know that it takes a lot of manpower and time to really make it happen when you don't have a budget for that. So I thought it would be best for us to introduce you face to face with some of these individuals that we see on the news and in our local press all the time. And what better way than the relationship kind of building aspect of it. So we see them on the news, they're reading the teleprompter, right? We don't know if they're really like that in person. So I wanted to change the game. Today, I bring you Courtney Wheaton of ABC22 on Fox 45 in Dayton, Ohio. And we've had a couple questions like, why Dayton? You know, that's not Cincinnati. Rich will tell you, okay, and I'll tell you, and I know Courtney will tell us today, news happens everywhere all the time. And a lot of things are happening in our space that are happening in those other spaces. And sometimes they're transformative in our space and then are spread out amongst the masses. So I think it's important that we not only know individuals in our local space, but also individuals in our region, okay? So as we move with the African American Chamber, you know I like to move authentically and intentionally. So I give you the phenomenal and amazing Courtney Wheaton of ABC22 Fox 45. Courtney, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Tell us a little bit about you. I don't want to read down your bio. I feel like you probably get that all the time. Courtney Wheaton, Bowling Green State University, right? Let's just have this professional, laid-back conversation. You know how I like to do it, and it is Friday, okay? So, and it's your day off. I know how that is too, okay? People always ask me, why is Meet the Press on these weird days, weird times? I'm like, hey, they're on the news, all right? Whenever they want to show up, we're going to make it happen. So I know today's your day off, so we appreciate you being here, okay, first and foremost. But tell us about yourself.
All right. So in addition to doing the news, I love photography, which goes really well. So I have my own side photography business that keeps me very busy. I'm also the president of the Greater Dayton Association of Black Journalists, which is very cool because we work with the journalists in Cincinnati a lot for networking and mixing. You mentioned Alexis, we're really good friends. I know her through those spaces. Last year they had the conference in Cincinnati, which was huge. All of us from Dayton and surrounding areas came, so that was awesome. I love food. I love trying new restaurants. And as a reporter, my main passion is really just like businesses, development, who's entrepreneurs, like what's growing and what's changing in the city.
That's really dope. Being from Dayton, Ohio, and telling my mother to attend today, okay, casinos are back open, so she's back at her favorite spa right now. But she would be in attendance, and she's going to catch the replay. But I think it's really awesome the fact that you are kind of doing the stories of the people in Dayton. And I hear that from like the ground, from all the grassroots individuals, that you have the stories that are really happening in the city. Let's jump into some of these questions. And today is going to be a question and answer kind of format between Courtney and I, okay? Because I want to make sure that you guys get some questions answered. I want to try to hit all of the ones that I think that you may want, but I also want to give you the opportunity to ask those questions too, okay? So tell us, how do you come about stories? Because you're in the newsroom on the weekends, right? You're a weekend anchor, and then you're in the field through the week. So how do you navigate that?
I always say, be a person first, be a reporter second. So a lot of times when I moved somewhere, I try out different businesses. I ask where the local spots I should check out are, who has a cool local business. I always want to support local business. So then I get to know these people as people, and they just enjoy me as a person. And then they trust me because we're friends. And then they were like, oh, I have this going on. And it just makes a very genuine type of connection rather than only calling them when, something's popping off or something's going on that's negative, so I really try to be a part of the community I live in. I don't want to, I see a lot of journalists only hang out with the only other journalists from other places, but they don't get immersed in the culture or know the people.
Wow, that's huge, and that's kind of what we were trying to do with Meet the Press, is kind of create that relationship building aspect of it. Rich is very great with that. I tell them all the time that, they're more mannerable and polite than I am. And they move so quietly and swiftly. And the beautiful thing is that that people aspect first. And I think some of us struggle to navigate, especially in the press and media space, with worrying about how they're going to be perceived or how they're perceiving you, right? So tell me, what is the process of like getting a story to you? If I'm a small business owner, or if I'm as large as like a Game Day Communications, doing large scale stories for events and festivals, how do we get a story to Courtney Wheaton, and how does it make sense from Cincinnati to Dayton?
Oh, okay. So the first thing you want to do is obviously have a well-written press release and make it short and concise. Like, I don't want to read 4 paragraphs. My boss doesn't. Like, something that I can already pitch. Like, make it easy and then make it relevant to what's happening. If you see it's Valentine's Day or something, and then you have cookies that have hearts, whatever, this is just an example, then tailor that to the morning show. Like, hey, I can show you how to make these cookies that I make already, blah, blah, blah. So just make it make sense with what's going on, because just because you're opening doesn't necessarily mean it's a business. If you maybe open a pharmacy and COVID-19 is going on right now, free testing, something that's going to be like kind of attractive to the news, like how can I sell that as a story? How can I make it important to the people that are watching? Then the second is put it on your social media. I would say like 50% of my stories literally come from Facebook events or just being in those neighborhood group pages. So even if you're a PR professional, get on like, oh, Middletown Neighborhood Talk and put your little flyer in there. And then I'll look in there and see if people are talking about it, if they think it's interesting. And then that's how I get a lot of my stories as well. And then when you said the Dayton versus Cincinnati, you have to realize in Dayton, like, we have sports too, but a lot of us go to the Reds games. A lot of us come to Cincinnati for so much. All the entrepreneurs I talk to, sometimes they have second businesses in both places. And then so many people live in between. Like I was saying, my anchors and my reporter friends, like a lot of them live in those towns in between. And some get our news, some gets Cincinnati news. So it's really important to make yourself just available to both markets, because half the journalists I even talk to, Amber, I don't know if you know her, Reggie, the sports guy at WCPO, they all came from Dayton. So a lot of us have these ties and care about both communities. So it's advantageous to like put the content out for both sides.
Okay, you just dropping gems in here today, Miss Wheaton. You're truly dropping gems in here, so I appreciate that. Okay, so you got me going, okay? I'm feeling this. I'm liking this. I see Rich over there with his grin too, so I know he's vibing with us. All right. tell me what are some no-nos, okay? As we're navigating this space, I got to have that press release short and concise. We got that, right? All right, make sure that we're on social with it. Okay, we're there. All right, now we're on social with it. What are some things that I should not be doing, though?
Oh, okay. So a bit, if I've talked to you already and you told me your information and I said I'll get back to you, don't like bomb me with 20, like it doesn't make it any more important. You don't know what the big story is. I could be dealing with like a murder or a death. Like I will get back to you. So don't like, of course follow up. Everybody should always follow up. But then when you get into that, stalker or just like consistent, just bothering me, that's when it's just like, okay, it's a turn off. And then I'll always send it to the whole newsroom, like send your press release to the general newsroom, but also always make a connection with one or two people that you truly know, because that probably gives you, I'm just making up a 25% more chance of somebody actually taking it seriously. Like if you give it directly to me and we have a relationship, I'll make sure it gets to the desk and it won't just get, we get hundreds of emails over and over again. And approaching me in person, sometimes it feels like, of course, you see me on TV, you know me, but like, still have that little bit of professional boundary, like, hey girl, and like, try to, just like, okay, hi, nice to meet you too. So still like, keeping it professional until we establish that relationship.
Yeah, I definitely, I definitely feel like I know some people on TV that I don't know, right? I have shared stories about how I met Michael Eric Dyson and had like a full fan moment, right? I'm sure you get that, where people just connect with you, or you're talking about something that relates so much to them that they feel that connection with you. And moving authentically and intentionally kind of leads people in that comfortability zone. I definitely know how that becomes uncomfortable quick, though. I know that's rough. That's really good, though, because I think sometimes people are worried that if they don't send it enough, it's not going to happen. And sometimes it's like, hey, it's not that that 51st email, okay, is going to change the game. It's like, hey, give it time. But also, we keep talking about that relationship building aspect of this too. So it's like, don't give up after that first email, okay? Try to find ways to engage, right? So I really think that I wasn't expecting you to drop as many gems as you have already dropped, okay, Ms. Wheaton, but we really appreciate it. Let's dive back in. Oh, go ahead.
Don't get discouraged, like just because I didn't do this story, what's news one day could literally not even make the news the next day, depending if it's a slow news day or fast news day. So like, or maybe that pitch you did wasn't the best, or it didn't fit with what we were trying to do then, but the next story you have about your business could be perfect or right on target for what we're looking for at that time. So don't take it personally, and keep those communications, and then don't write things like, I see ABC22, like get Twitter fingers, and like just be positive, because most likely we really try hard to tell our community stories, and we really try to tell your story. So don't get like offended and then like burn your bridge forever, because 9 times out of 10 at some point, I will use your content.
That's amazing. That's great advice. Let's jump back into you. What's your favorite part of the job, Courtney? Like, what is the one thing that like gets you excited about going to work?
Like, like what's it, life's like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. Like, I love that when it comes to my days. I know that I'm not, no offense to anyone who sits in the office, like, everybody has to do something, but I just know that every day that I am gonna do something different. Every day I'm gonna learn something new. I'm always a student. So one day I'm a truck driver, like the next day I'm a doctor, the next day I'm shooting a gun, like why, so I just have, like, I'm in a helicopter, like just not knowing where I'm going to be or what I'm going to learn is so exciting. And sometimes it can be stressful too, because you never know, like you like consistency and a schedule. Sometimes it's like, oh, like this changed and I wasn't expecting that. But that's mostly the fun of it. And now that I'm doing 2 roles, because I'm an anchor on the weekend, I get to kind of take a leadership role in that sense and mentor young journalists and, see how the show goes, like big picture, like the big puzzle, like how the whole show's come together rather than just my story. So that's been really exciting lately too.
That's awesome. Okay, one more question, and then we'll jump back into the business aspect of this. What is your favorite market that you've worked in thus far? And I know you've interned in Cincinnati at Channel 12. I know you've been a lot of other places. So take us through where you've been, and then tell us which one was your favorite, if you can.
Okay. So I started in Zanesville. Like I said, that was not my favorite, but I'm so blessed for that opportunity just because it was very small. It took me away from my house. It taught me like what I needed to know to be a better journalist. Then I lived in the Saginaw, Flint, Michigan market for a while. That was the most, I guess, I don't want to say exciting, but there was so much breaking news. Unfortunately, there was so much going on. Then with the water crisis covering such an important story and being able to be an advocate for, the residents there that still are without clean water and tell their stories. That was just, so meaningful to me. And then I lived in Lynchburg, Virginia, and it was just a beautiful place to live. The Blue Ridge Mountains and motorcycles and fishing on my days off. I really got my country girl on there. But just did some different things, and that was a cool experience because I never lived that far away from home. And now I feel like Dayton feels most like, because I'm from Toledo, Ohio, it feels most like home. So I'm having the most, I guess, the best time here because I feel like I really relate to the community. They really receive me well. And it's so similar to how I grew up that it just feels like a home away from home.
That's amazing. I mean, shout out to Dayton. Anytime that I can say that in the Cincinnati space, Rich already knows that Eric would be eating me up right now, but shout out to Dayton. And I'm glad this is recorded. I will cut this and send this right to him. This is amazing. Dayton is definitely a changing space. And so I appreciate you, sharing your journey, and that, this space is a really good one for you. Let's jump back into it. If I have a story, okay, and I have this press release and it's on social, do I pitch only to 22/Fox 45? Do I pitch it to Channel 7 as well? Do I send it to the region? Because I know you said not just to hit the newsroom, but hit that individual person if you can. Should I hit multiple people with the same story, or should I tailor it to different ones?
Ooh, okay. So if they're in the same market, usually you probably can send the same press release because it's going to be the Miami Valley. If it's in Cincinnati, it's going to be Cincinnati. But if you have like a personal connection, I'm okay with name dropping. Like, hey, I'm sending it to the newsroom, but I met Courtney at blah, 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 and she told me to reach out. It might give you that just extra little bit of importance, or like, oh, they might put it in a different folder just because you do have that connection for sure. And you just have to know your audience, like who you're trying to get to do what, and then you tailor it. If it's to me, you can be a little less formal because we've met, but if it's just to the newsroom or to my news director or the general manager, then you want to, dial it back and think about, okay, what can that do for them? Like, why would they care about this? That's the main question you need to ask me to send a press release. Like, is this only benefiting me? Like, how do I make someone else, buy into this?
Dropping gems. Okay. Ding, 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 ding. All right. This is good. I think that a lot of times we get scared. I think that, a lot of people are just worried, oh, I'm going to send it to 9 because I watch 9. I'm going to send it to 12 because I watch 12, when, like you said, you could send it out to multiple people. And that name dropping aspect too. I know Rich and them are real good to get, all the information and details from us. And I know it's because they're trying to compile the best pitch to make sure that the word gets out about what we're talking about. So I appreciate you sharing that. Now, I've noticed a common connection, okay, between all of my Meet the Press individuals. They are all a part of NABJ. Okay, we have Jan Michelle Lemon-Kearney, right, who was our first Meet the Press. We've had Ashley Kirkland, right, and now we have the phenomenal Miss Courtney Wheaton. Talk to me about what that is, and talk to me about kind of what NABJ does across the country, okay, in ways that maybe just, of course, I know a lot about NABJ, right, but as a non-PR press media person, what are ways I can engage NABJ or even help? Okay, because I know you guys are a nonprofit. I know you guys, are a collective. So talk to me about that.
Well, as a whole, NABJ is the National Association of Black Journalists. Obviously, it was started at a time when Black journalists didn't have the same opportunities or might have faced, certain hurdles that they still are facing now, but maybe not as horrible. So we really just want to at least at my chapter, we're trying to mentor the next generation and just have a space where they can, get those critiques, ask those questions so they don't have to go on their first job not knowing something or at a disadvantage. Like, you need that outfit? I have plenty of clothes that, like whatever they need to put the best foot forward and succeed. And then just to make sure there's always equality and a voice for, people of color. Say if like a senator says something that's, inappropriate, we'll send that email saying like, hey, we denounced this, and just kind of a checks and balances system, really. And if you want to get involved, not every city, but a lot of cities have chapters. You got to check what chapter is closest to you, and really just send us a Facebook message, an email. We have meetings like every other month, and then we try to do a lot of things in the community too, volunteering, helping with back to school. So we're out there. Like recently, nationally, we had one for Black males, like inspiring Black males, and I did a documentary. I made up a documentary, and then everybody followed. It was really cool, and we just talked about how they're portrayed in the media, and what problems we're seeing and who they are, and it was really powerful. So we always are trying to put on programming and just like forward the conversation for sure.
Okay, that was great. That was phenomenal. NABJ is a strong source in Cincinnati. Meeting you and you being the president of NABJ in the Dayton area, I think that's phenomenal. You guys are doing great things, and a lot of you, especially when I was in my PR space, I was the first Black in corporate. I was the first time in that PR role for them. I was the first male in corporate. It was definitely different, and being in the PR aspect of it too, I was kind of navigating it. I'm not going to say untraditionally, but not in a way that they were expecting. So it reaped a lot of rewards and awards, but it, sometimes PR is sometimes unconventional, and sometimes from our diverse sphere and lens, we aren't always heard. And so NABJ helped me kind of wear my shoes, lace them a little tighter, and stand my ground, and kind of just say, what I really felt was best. And it worked out, and having that backing is huge. Having that group behind you is amazing. So you guys are strong people and doing big things in the community, so that's amazing. And it makes news worth watching. It makes, partnering with the media a lot easier and a lot less scary once we know you. So I thank you for that. Now, we are at 12:30, okay? And I know my replay people are like, Jordan, you could have cut that off at 12:30, okay? I'm not going to bore you, okay, and ask 100 more questions. I know Rich probably has a couple for Courtney, okay? I am going to turn the floor over to questions, but let me preface by saying if you have more questions for Courtney Wheaton, please email me. My information is located in the bottom, okay? They're in the description area. You can email me questions and we'll shoot them to her. I told you her day off was Friday, okay? So send it to me on Thursday and we'll make sure it's right there. So when she wakes up on Friday, she can hit us back, okay? Because she's rocking with the African American Chamber. You can see it. Rich, you can see it too. Not if you can see it, Rich. She can see it. He can see it. We're in here, okay? So we're going to turn the floor over to questions. Rich, you have a couple questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
It deals with 2020 in general, as far as all the big news stories that have been going on, and it's changed viewership patterns as well as the type of stories that are on the news. I know I've every day seems like it's a little bit different. What type of stories are you or your news director or assignment editor looking for? These are the things that fit right now.
Oh gosh, right now, if it's anything COVID-19 related, you're gonna get something on it. Really, the impact it has on the community though. So we do like a lot of business stories, who's recovering, who's not, who's closed, who's staying open, how we can help them. So that's the main one, just the economy and how it's having an impact on us. And then I would say health is probably number two. Obviously, there's disparities between different races and how it affects people. So that's another big story. The testing, Moderna just came out and that's, promising and everything. So we just interviewed a local doctor about when we could see that locally. I think UC is actually doing trials, so that's really cool, and they're at the forefront. So really just like tying in the the global COVID-19 story and making it local and how it impacts our community.
Great, that's very helpful. Thank you.
All right, Courtney, I don't have any more questions for you, so we're not going to hold you up, all right? I know it's a beautiful day here in Ohio. It's about 12:32. So thank you again for joining us today and dropping the gems that you dropped. Again, this has been recorded, so please feel free to utilize it at your leisure as well. This will be posted on our website as well as on our YouTube. So we thank you for that. Any closing remarks before I jump into my final spiel?
Oh, yes. Rich, it's Courtney Wheaton TV on Facebook, at Courtney 24/7 now on Instagram. And I think Courtney Wheaton TV on something else. I have to double check that. And I'll put, you have my email, right, Jordan? So I think that's all my information if you guys want to follow me. I try to, keep it light, have some fun moments on my social media, but also definitely tell the news and connect with people in both cities. So thank you guys so much for having me, and I really appreciate it.
Go ahead, Rich.
Just thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you, Jordan, for putting all this together.
You're very welcome. Yes, sir. All right. This has been a phenomenal day with Courtney Wheaton with another installment of Meet the Press. I'm Jordan Ivory, Program Director here at the African American Chamber. And if you're tuning in here on the replay, please make sure that you check out the description portion. There is my contact information. If you have more questions for Miss Courtney Wheaton, I will be more than happy to shoot them over to her, okay? Again, her days off are on Friday. Okay, so shoot them to me on Thursday. We'll get them to her early in the morning, right? Okay, so please, please, please make sure that you hit that survey link, okay, in the bottom, in the description. I will be sure to read those, okay? And that's a great way to show the city as well as all the individuals that are a part of the chamber, that are a part of our partnership, exactly how we're doing and what you have to say. Okay, I want people to always know that you have a voice here at the African American Chamber, and we're trying to create programming that makes sense, all right, but also is pushing the limit, all right? So with that quality, okay, and quantity, we have to put that quality first. So please make sure you tune in next week, okay? We have the Reverend Al Sharpton on Thursday, okay? I'm not going to hype it up too much because we've got a lot of other things next week, okay? But sign up for that on our website. That's on Thursday, okay? On Monday, we have Pro Kids, and they are talking about CASAs. So please check us out on Monday, okay, 5:30 to 7, right here on this very same Zoom, okay? Check that out on our website as well. On Tuesday, we have How to Increase Sales with Micro-Influencers with Morgan A. Owens of the MAO brand. She will be talking about how influencers can help small businesses and how they work with large corporate companies to garner small businesses' attention and vice versa. So please check us out then. We also have Aku Williams talking about the Internet of Things. So please check us out next week. All this information is on our website at African-Americanchamber.com. I'm Jordan Ivory. If you need me, you know where to find me. I'll see you guys next week, okay? Have a great weekend. Rich, thank you for joining us. Courtney, we couldn't have done this without you. See you guys on Monday.
Bye.